Hello, beautiful Cancerians. Happy 2020 New Year. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Sorry, I was just hit with this energy. I feel very bouncy, so that's a good thing. The energy that I have with me for you is very bouncy. It's very alive. It's like a kitten that wants to play. There's a lot of curiosity with this feeling. Whoa, I was just hit with that. Oof. Okay, let me get my bearings together. Thank you so much for coming back. My name is Joanna. Welcome to Team Joanna. Let me state my intention. I feel giddy. My intention is to essentially provide you with information that will help you realize yourself, by helping you understand yourself better, by helping you see things differently, and by helping you letting go of that which no longer serves you, essentially your past. And if I can do this in a way that shifts how you see things, and that ultimately changes your entire world going forward, then I have done what I love doing best, which is showing you the true power of who you really are, and that you are one massively powerful creator. So that's what I want for you. That is what Team Joanna is all about, to help you realize your power. All right. As I was tuning in, the image that I had for you was you pulling out an anchor. And the image was, because imagery is so beautifully rich in its message. Whoever you are standing there, you have just pulled out this anchor. And this anchor was something that kept you anchored, stuck, unable to move forward. The anchor could have been your unwillingness of letting something go. Point is, the anchor is something that has been there with you for a while. And in the month of January or thereabouts, you are pulling out this anchor, whatever this anchor is. Now, you may have already pulled the anchor by realizing certain things, or you will be realizing certain things in the next few weeks to few months. Sorry, just turning down my music. And with that comes the reward of not only feeling free, but also being able to envision a brighter future. For some of you, this is about you overcoming what's being termed as massive overthinking. Now, any sort of overthinking will give one a headache and an anxiety. So the term massive overthinking is for those of you who struggled with an anxiety, who struggle with feeling stressed a lot, whose predominant status quo is always slightly on the anxious side. And if that has been your anchor, that would have been one massive anchor to keep you from realizing yourself, because massive overthinking comes from place none other than fear. And my passion is to help you understand what your fears are, which is dense in vibration, and by realizing certain things about yourself, you deciding to drop it so that it no longer weighs you down. So have this image as almost a guiding post for the next little while, which is you holding this anchor, which represents you just freed yourself from something. And the interesting thing is that for some of you, it has to do with where you live, because although feeling anchored is not a bad thing. Think of a boat. If a boat is not anchored, then you leave the boat and you come back a few hours later and the boat is gone and nowhere to be found. So some anchoring is good. Let's call it grounding. What I'm talking about is something that has kept you stuck, an inability to move past something or out of something that's been there for a while, that's been there rooted, That's the kind of anchor I'm talking about. So what I'm seeing is, in regards to the different place for some of you, you are letting go, you are taking the anchor from one space and you are looking, or you're looking or deciphering where to put this anchor next. So this, to me, is significant of a move, whether it is an energetic move where you shift in vibrations, or it is a physical move, or both for that matter. Thank you for reminding me. And for whatever reason, I just heard some of you will know about this Saturday. And whenever you are listening to this, if next Saturday you find out about this anchor thing, do comment below, because that's pretty darn fantastically amazing message to get. It's pretty darn specific. All right. Also, the number 8 is shown to me, and I'm also seeing the letter B, and I'm going, no, it's 8, and I'm not like, no, it's B. So there is at least one person whose name begins with a B, either first or last, and somehow the number 8 is very significant to you. It could be a month of August, or it could be the number 8. 8 also to me represents leadership. It represents the lion in the traditional tarot deck, or at least the ones I have. So 8 is a lot of strength. There is something about that. There's a message in there for you if your name begins with letter B, okay? For some of you, if this is you, consider yourself a leader as is. Now it's about practicing. So this is for those of you who have denied yourself being a leader or the ability to lead your own life. And whether it's to lead, I'm not going to over explain it. I think you get the picture. If this is meant for you, you will hear it. So the number 8 is very important. It is also about not denying your own strength. Now, here's an interesting question. Why on earth would you deny your own strength, right? Well, if you deny your own strength, because we all do, most human beings do to some extent, if you are denying it, then there must be a reason for it. Otherwise, you wouldn't deny it. It's just that easy, right? Simple. Extraordinarily simple when we look at it that way. Not so easy when it comes to the actual experience. So if this is you, if you have been denying your own strength, let's call it power, you must have a reason for it. So my job is to help you understand, what is that reason? Why are you denying yourself power? Is it because you were taught? Is it because when you felt powerful, somebody shamed you? Is it because you were trained to be a certain way? I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and then some, right? It's basically, you have learned to deny your own power, or you have not learned to access your true power. And that's how it goes. But that's my job. My job as Joanna is to help you understand that. Why? Because the moment you understand it and the moment you see it differently is the moment when you realize that just the realization that you are powerful shifts and changes everything. It's a vibrational shift that happens internally in your own body, in your etheric, physical, emotional body. There's like a switch that goes on. When you begin to realize that, you are so much more than you can see, by me helping you look at the things that you tell yourself that you are, but you're not those things. Those things were just something that you keep on repeating because you were taught, or you don't know any different, or you don't know any better. So my job is to help you take your blinders off. That's a really good explanation. Thank you. So I forgot where I was. I hope this is just keeps on making sense. So what is the first card? I told you I felt bubbly. There's just a lot of information. What's the first card that represents you in the month of January or so? This card has no meanings. In other words, there's no labels, no words. Whatever the meaning is the one that comes to you when you see it, when you feel it. So what do you see? I'll tell you what I see. I see two people being blinded. And that can represent an aspect of you. What aspect of you is blinded? What aspect of you cannot see? Or what aspect of you cannot see? What is holding you from seeing? What is holding you from seeing things differently? And there is some higher power that is holding these two people, and so they're not able to see. So here's what the message is to me. You are beginning to recognize your own true power by realizing that what you are not able to see about yourself was as a result of what someone wanted you to understand about yourself. There's no maliciousness in it. In other words, the reason why you see or don't see certain things about yourself is because the way you were taught to see or not to see, or what you experienced. There's no other way of saying it. It's simply that's what it is. Perhaps your inability to see certain things has been your anchor. Okay, so that's one message. The other message is these being, which now I see it as winged, is holding people's eyes so they can't see, and therefore the alternative is, or the only other way to perceive is through their intuition, it's through their senses. So this is a message for some of you that tells me you are learning how to trust yourself. And you are also learning to trust spirit to help and lead you, but it is not going to be with what you see with your eyes. It is going to be through what you feel inside. That's why it's so important to be able to feel. And a lot of people, including some of you, do not give yourself permission. You either don't give yourself permission to feel, or you don't feel because you're not supposed to be feeling for whatever reason, or you're too scared to feel, or maybe you're not emotionally very expressive, or maybe you're emotionally not very in tune. Again, it is a learned behavior. So if you have been someone who has been denying their feelings for a while, no time like the present to reacquaint yourself with your feelings, particularly the ones that hurt. Now let me explain. I am not asking you to dwell on your pain, but what I am asking you to understand is to realize that the pain that you have gone through and still are holding to is you being redefined in terms of strength. In other words, the most painful experiences have shaped you the most. And the other reason why it's important to feel is because, how do I say this? To feel who you really are feels absolutely amazing. I mean, to feel the true you is absolutely amazing. Therefore, if you deny yourself the ability to feel, you're denying yourself one of, if not the most exquisite experiences of your life. Now, why on earth would you want to do that? Also, by holding on to pain too long, resentment, anger, whatever it is, you rob yourself of the same. So it's a month of heavy lifting in terms of letting go. Letting go. This is what I get from this message. So I said, okay, what's connected to this? The word determination and the first chakra, which is very interesting. What's first chakra? First chakra is your safety center, essentially, your security center. It is an aspect of you that feels, the aspect of you that corresponds to feeling safe and secure, and it's sheer survival. When we are not grounded or rooted, we don't feel safe. For too long, we don't feel safe. When we don't feel safe, we feel fearful. When we feel fearful, we are anxious. Therefore, in order for anxiousness to go away, we have to learn how to deal with grounding and feelings of safety. So for those of you whose anchor has been feeling lack of safety inside, if that's the anchor that you are pulling out in the next few weeks or few months, then I applaud you and hats off to you, because you're doing some pretty impressive work. And it's not going to go unnoticed, is what I'm being asked to say. It is not going unnoticed already, but it's not going to go unnoticed. In other words, there is a prize at the end of this challenging work. What are you letting go of? No surprise there. An anxiety. That's what you are letting go of. You are letting go of the feelings that you are so familiar with that always, to some extent, has you sitting on edge, or keeps you on edge. Now, being kept on edge once in a while can be thrilling. It's not the type of edge I'm talking about. Because yes, we go to see scary movies and, we're sitting at the edge of our seat, but we're enjoying it. This is not the type of enjoyment I'm talking about. This is not the type of scary feeling I'm talking about. I'm talking about perpetual feeling of inner lack of safety or inner lack of security, and that is experienced in literally gazillion different ways. For one, when you are not safe or not secure, you will block yourself from possibilities and opportunities. In other words, you will not allow life to give to you as much as life wants to give to you, because you will not have trust that is developed. And in order to be open, to have the door open, so to speak, one needs to feel safe and then trust, and those two go hand in hand. What this is telling me is that many of you are repairing, so to speak, the distrust you have towards yourself, towards your intuition, and to the world, or to the universe, to people. Does that mean that if you have mistrusted most of your life, or if you have major issues with trusting men or women, that in the month of January, which is short 4.5 weeks, all of that is going to disappear, go away? Chances are the answer is nope. However, in the next few weeks or few months, you will begin to see the results of your hard work paying off in terms of the way you feel every day when you wake up. And you look at yourself and you will say to yourself, wow, I feel good. I feel good. This is the space within you, that inner sanctuary, as I called it in my other video, that ultimately where this is leading you to by letting go of an anxiety, anxiousness, which is always, always rooted in fear. Whatever has been keeping you there, emotionally speaking, because it is emotions we are talking about, you're moving on. You're letting go of the past. You're leaving it behind you. You are no longer allowing your past to dictate who you are. Now, your past has made you the way you are, and you are amazing. I'm talking about those things that have happened that we hold on to for dear life sometimes, but it actually affects us in a negative way. It acts as a limitation and prevents us from going further and being more. Whatever that is, whatever that has been holding you back, you are letting it go this month, next month, particularly the first 6 months. So you might want to tune in to the 6-month 2020 Ascension videos and see what came out there. I don't remember. All I know is that the messages were extremely powerful, every single one. Here's the image I see. You are walking out from what I would call a prison. Except you always had the key to the prison door. You always had it, except you didn't know you had the key. So you were searching for that key somewhere outside the prison. In other words, other people, other things. And whatever work you have been doing, and this required you to pay attention to yourself and also your feelings, that you have arrived at this space of opening that door, which means you are choosing to be free. And I see you walking the door behind you. And I actually hear the click, metal to metal, and you close the key. And the funny thing is that when I look at this prison, it has walls all around, but I look up and there is no roof. There's no roof. You could have gotten out so long ago. And then I just heard, you forgot to look up. You kept looking down. You forgot to look up. Now that's a metaphor, and I'm not going to translate it because I'm not supposed to. Whatever look up means to you. Okay? Help is always available. When you ask, you always get it. You may not always get it in the package that you want it, or it may not always be delivered in the way that you have imagined. But the universe always responds to your calls. So it is important to pay attention, particularly in regards to how you feel. Because the universe speaks to you also through intuition. It's not just other people. And even though I am the other people speaking to you, your intuition will tell you whether what I'm saying to you rings true to you or not. Some of it will be logic, and some of it will be just pure intuition. It's just a knowing. It'll either resonate with you or it won't. All I can say is that this is freaking beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Guess what that is? Total, utter transformation. Now, this symbol stands for, it's an alchemical symbol for air. So it is you transforming your thoughts. Thoughts that are fear-based. It landed in this position, and I knew I was to use it that way. And all I was going to say about it landing that way was, don't be afraid of your own fear. Don't be afraid to look at your fear. Because your fear represents an aspect of you that is strength in the making. It's there for a reason. You chose it to be there for a reason. Now I know, logically, you would have never chosen that, neither would I. But this is not about logic here. This is about bigger, higher understanding. In other words, don't be afraid of your own shadow. It's your shadow. And the moment you understand your shadow, it is shadow no more. Fantastic symbol to get. Absolutely phenomenal. And here's what I want to say as my parting words. Now go get it. As if somebody said, here's your future, now go get it. And with that said, I want to leave this with you. I hope that this was helpful. I wish you could feel what I feel. It just feels exhilarating. I just love this energy. I knew 2020 is going to be a phenomenal year, but it's starting on a certainly amazing note in terms of what I feel. But man, this is absolutely stunningly beautiful. If this makes no sense to you at the beginning, chances are it may not. Listen to it down the road. If it's not in January, maybe even in February. As a matter of fact, come back to it 3 months later and see if it rings true with you then, because I have a feeling most of you who will hear this eventually will make sense of all of this and then some. Okay? I wish you best of luck. Take care of yourself. If you would like to have the extended 2020 Ascension videos, which is where I focus specifically on how to drop density, that information is down below. And of course, if you want to have a session with me, of course, that information is down below as well. Thank you again once again for coming back. And if you're new, I hope you stay. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care and Happy New Year's again.